over the past week, I seriously considered getting out of the hobby entirely. I'll tell you why. What's going on, fish nerds? Welcome back. And to explain that little statement there, I've got a story to tell you guys. Last week I went on vacation, and when I go on vacation, normally I just leave things the way they are. I take care of my water changes before I leave. I go, I come back, everything's fine. This time in my Breeding for Profit tank, I had a whole bunch of fresh baby plecos, and so I did have my parents coming by every other day or so to feed more green beans into the tank, make sure I didn't lose any of those plecos. They went ahead and fed my turtles and other things like that as well. And I got a phone call on the very last day on my way home from vacation that pretty much ruined my day. So you guys know this tank. This is the Breeding for Profit tank. We've got the guppies in here, but you'll notice there's some things missing from this tank. Notably, there used to be thousands of red cherry shrimp in this tank, as well as several hundred bristlenose plecos, the super red bristlenose. And there goes a leech. You guys remember I've dealt with those. This is the only tank left in the fish room that still has them. But I don't see any cherry shrimp in here. I don't see any super red bristlenose. The reason for that, that's the laundry beeping right there. Sorry about that. But the reason you don't see any of those is because on my way home from vacation, I get a call from my parents, and they say, hey, we came to take care of your fish, and they're all dead. They said there's a few left, you got some guppies left, but you've got a bunch of dead plecos. And they didn't say anything about the shrimp, but you can see I lost all my shrimp, and I lost every single one of my bristlenose pleco breeders. And all the babies that were in this tank, there were 2 survivors. There were 2 young juvenile plecos that survived. Literally every other pleco in this tank died, and I had some beautiful, beautiful breeders. I had a male that was just absolutely gorgeous. He had bristles for days on his face, and he was just the perfect bright orange color. And I get home and all of them are dead. They're floating and completely washed out, just all of them lost. And when I'm on the phone with them trying to figure out what happened, they tell me that the sponge filter is floating at the top of the tank. Now you can see this sponge filter is my source of aeration. I don't know how in the world, because this thing is supposed to be weighted. It's never floated on me before, ever since I set it up. But somehow this thing got clogged with air or something and floated up to the top, and because of that, this airline being the only source of aeration for the tank, with the filter floating at the top, this tank didn't get any aeration, and all my plecos suffocated. All my cherry shrimp suffocated. I'm assuming the only reason the guppies survived was because they were able to get up to the top and, you know, breathe a little better. You know, I'm sure I came close to losing them. My parents, you know, set that rock on the sponge to weight it down to get some air back in the tank. But in a matter of minutes, at least to me, because to me, 1 minute I've got a tank full of fish that I'm on my way home to, and the next minute I've got a Breeding for Profit tank that used to be and now has nothing in it but these guppies. And I mean, those bristlenose, those were my prize. Those were my pride and joy. The fact that I had these beautiful super red bristlenose. You know, I am the bristlenose pleco provider to my local fish store, and all that's gone now. They're all gone. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually did sit down with myself and decide and think about, do I even want to keep doing this? And you know, that's a legitimate feeling when you have a loss like that. I mean, I lost a dozen beautiful adult bristlenose plecos of the super reds, and just like that, I mean, that'll get you. You know, when you put your effort into it, you put your time into the hobby, and then just all of a sudden a disaster strikes like that and you lose an entire tank of fish that you love, a tank that you enjoy, and then all of a sudden it's just gone. You know, it's heart-wrenching, and it makes you want to feel like, you know what, I just want to quit. I don't even want to do this anymore because it's not fun. And in that moment, it's not fun. But, of course, even though things go wrong, even though you suffer that heartache, it's one of those things, you don't just give up on things because something hurts. You don't just give up on things because something goes wrong. Yes, this was a tragedy for me. I lost a lot of money worth of fish, but even more than that, I lost a lot of fish that I was emotionally invested in. You know, so that was a hard thing. And that was a really bad day that I had last weekend. And there's the laundry again. You know, life goes on, and the hobby goes on. So yes, I had a fish tank disaster. But does that make it not worth it to keeping fish? No. It's still worth it for me to try again. It's still worth it for me to get more fish. It's still worth it for me to learn from this mistake, have backups, and move on with fish keeping, because it's a rewarding experience. The reason I was emotionally invested in these fish is because it's enjoyable. And the same thing that causes it to be hard when you lose these fish is what makes it worth it to get more and to keep going. So no, I'm not going to quit keeping fish. I'm not going to leave the hobby. I am going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep pressing on. And as Sergeant Tank would say, I'm going to keep on keeping on. I want to share this with you guys, one, so you know what's going on, you know, because there's certain people that love this breeding for profit tank, and you know, next update on it, all of a sudden there's not going to be any bristlenose there, you know. And so there's the update aspect of it. But even more than that, I want to encourage you guys, when things go wrong, don't give up. Don't just quit doing the things you love. You know, if you love skateboarding and you fall down and you get scraped up, are you just going to quit skateboarding? If you love horseback riding and you fall off your horse, it's cliche, but you get back on the horse again. I'm just going to keep pressing on. I'm going to keep doing this. And so that's what I've got going on this week. That's, you know, I could give you updates on what I'm doing with the new rack and stuff, but I felt like this would be a more important video to show you guys, yeah, I had some losses and it stinks and I don't like it, but I'm gonna keep pressing on. We're gonna do the new tank. I am still planning some outdoor tubbing, even though it's getting late in the season. I'm very far behind on it. We're gonna do that. You know, I've got things planned for new tanks. I've got plans for what I want to put in this tank. So it's all gonna be good. It's all gonna be okay. It's not what I wanted. It's not what I like. But we're gonna keep on going. Thanks to you guys for all of your support. I know you guys have backed me up for a long time and what I'm doing here. You guys have been very supportive of me, of the channel, of what I'm doing here in the fish room. And I wanna say thank you guys so much. You are all very awesome. I appreciate you guys very much. God bless you, fish nerds. And I'll see you next week with a much happier, much better video. And just a hint, I am going to a fish store on Saturday.